What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another very fun-filled episode of the Burnout Brighter podcast. This is episode 136, and my name is Matt. I'll be your host for this evening's events. I'm joined, as always, by my wonderful, lovely co-host, Destiny.
Hi, guys.
Wait, you didn't do hey, hey, hey? This feels wrong.
Well, now I feel like we gotta start all over. Okay, do it again.
This is my wonderfully lovely co-host, Destiny.
Hey, hey, hey.
Okay, everything feels right again. Destiny, you know we're going through a period of change, of too much changes too quickly. I'm going to get anxious.
I'm sorry. Hey, hey.
Thank you. And welcoming back, as we told you guys on last week's show, Darren is moseying away. We're taking him out back, letting him go to pasture. But because we need someone that we feel we jive with and that we click with, we have the wonderful, the musical, the angry vegetable himself, Mr. Mad Seedling, aka Lou, joining us as our, what is it, new what, Destiny?
Our new co-host.
What's up, Lou?
What's up, folks? Not much. Glad to be here.
Hell yeah, dude. I'm so excited
to have you here.
Yeah, to join us on our journey in all things Burnout Brighter. You're already prepared. You already got the cool ass background with a bunch of awesome looking art pieces. So we're all about it. We're excited to have you, my friend.
Awesome. Yeah, let's do it.
We're going to do it. And we're gonna do it there, and we're gonna do it over there.
Let's do it to it.
Yeah. We're gonna it and do it.
Oh wow. Okay.
Destiny, are you sick of this yet?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Just a little bit.
So now that we're gonna do it. Well, on this week's show, we're going to be talking all about Kingdom Hearts, talking about some worlds that we want to see in Kingdom Hearts 4, which was recently announced. But we'll get into all of that in just a little bit. Before we do that, let's start with some what's new. Let's kick it off with what we've been doing, what we've been feeling, what we've been playing. Dee, I'm going to start with you. What's new? What's going on?
Okay, so what's new? I got my laptop back, and as you guys can see, for the next couple of days, my backgrounds are going to be a little different because my ports have died on my gaming PC, and I guess MSI just decided to discontinue the ports, and now I can't replace them.
No way.
Oh,
Yeah. So I'm going to have to get a new laptop.
geez.
No.
That's
Yeah, it's so expensive. So I'm debating on, but I did recently get insurance, so hopefully that'll help with it. And yeah.
So the ports just straight up were done. We're not doing anything anymore. See you later.
They stopped working.
They pieced out.
And evidently they that's a known thing that happens sometimes. They just stop working. So when they took it in, the guy was like, "Oh no, it works fine." I was like, "No, it doesn't. It doesn't work fine." And then Jackie was like, "Can you plug something in and check it?" Okay, listen, when I first took it in, he was looking at the charge port and he plugged it in and he was like, "I don't know why she brought this in. The charge port works fine, but I guess it's a little loose, so I'll put a little glue there or whatever." So he calls me and he's like, "Yeah, your charge port is fine." I was like, "Yeah, I know my charge port is fine.
Wasn't the fucking problem.
That's not what I brought it in for." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, I thought that was weird." I was like, "You thought it was weird, but then you went ahead and put glue on it?"
He just threw some Gorilla Glue down. He's like, "This fixes the problem."
I have no idea what kind of glue he used. But anyway, so it sucks because the computer is it's so good. You know, it runs games so smoothly. But if the ports die, then it's a heavy paperweight. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Almost like a big bologna sandwich.
Yeah, but not a bologna sandwich.
Thank you.
Well,
Yeah.
That's why. That's exactly why, Lou. That's the singular reason why that doesn't.
You just came on the show, Lou. Do not make an enemy of me. Not talking about bologna sandwiches. But okay, anyways. So, yeah, working on that. And I've been thinking of playing some Black Desert Online with a friend who's been interested in playing it again. I've just been working a lot on putting together something really special for women in gaming, working on that and talking to some people and networking. And hopefully that'll we'll get that done by June. So we'll be announcing that if that all goes well. So that'll be really exciting.
I'm going to knock on it.
Yeah, knock on wood. I think it'll go well. All the meetings have gone well, and right now we're just like putting in little pieces together. Like it's coming together really well.
Nice.
Um, well, what else have I been doing? Have I watched? Oh my God. So I watched this new, well, I didn't watch all of it. Jackie was watching it, but like this trash reality show called The Ultimatum, where basically like these couples, one of the couples gives the other person an ultimatum, like either we're going to get married or by the end of the show or we're not. Right. And so it's such a ridiculous thing. So like Nick Lachey is like, I don't know if you guys know who Nick Lachey is.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, yeah.
He is the host with his wife, right? So like there's these couples, and of course all these couples are like 20 something and look like perfect and all of this shit. They're very annoying. And what they do is they take them and they switch partners. So they have
Like
like
a
8
wife swap?
couples, like a wife swap or a husband swap. Yeah, they switch partners and then they get to pick the person they want to be with, right? And then they're with that person for 3 weeks. So technically within that 3 weeks, these couples are broken up to kind of see like, you know, if I see other people, is this going to make me really want to stay with the person I'm with? Or like, am I going to realize that like, I really don't want to get married. I want to go out and explore more. Right.
So is this like a pass to just cheat and fuck around for 3 weeks
I
just because kind of
literally
thing?
feel like this is what that is.
Right? It's like a hall pass.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, this is going to sound sexist and I am sorry to all of our male listeners, all right? But I just feel like, okay, look, and I'll make it not as sexist. If you put bread in front of me and tell me that I can eat all the bread that I want, I'm going to eat it.
Oh yeah.
Okay? So that's my analogy. Even though
Might
I know
slap
it's
some bologna in there too.
yeah, shut up, Matt. No bologna. Cuz I can't eat pork. But
Right.
if you
Bologna's
put that in
pork.
yeah,
The
it's
more you
usually
know.
like bits of pork and stuff
Mm.
like so yeah, if you put a bunch of like delicious bread in front of me and say, "Hey, for 3 weeks, you can have this, but like don't do it." I'm gonna eat it if you tell me I can have it. Like don't put it in front of me. So basically they're putting these young dudes and these young girls in situations where they're going off with people that they're already physically attracted to.
Mm.
Right.
And then they all fuck around.
Do the partners get
Big
mad
surprise.
at the fucking around? I'm guessing because both partners are doing it, right? Like I'm trying to understand, like, what the fuck?
Okay, listen. So one of the couples like okay this was ridiculous. One of the couples that got together, they weren't attracted to each other, but like they were basically like the last picked. Do you know what I mean? Like
Okay,
that they
that's kind of
wanted to
perfect.
pick didn't want to be with them because you could say no. So they were like,
Okay.
well, we still want to do this experiment, so like we'll just pick each other, right? So they didn't do anything. But because they weren't attracted to each other and they still wanted to do the experience, they went out to find someone else to do that 3-week experience with,
Hmm.
right? So the other people who were their couple, their significant other that they came in with got really mad. Like, I can't believe you posted pictures of you at a club with people standing beside you. Meanwhile, dude is like having sexual relations with the girl he's spending 3 weeks with.
He's
But he
getting it.
got mad that she posted pictures. She didn't even do anything. And then the other girl, the whole time, her name's Madeline. Madeline, you're trash.
Yeah.
Madeline is trash. She's like, the whole time she's like egging this guy on. Jackie, who was Madeline trying to get with? Was it Jake? Randall. Fucking Randall, who's also
Randall.
trash.
It's always a Randall.
It's always
Man, or a Chris. Sorry, Chris's. Anyways, so Randall, she's talking because they do those things where they talk to the camera and they're like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
yeah,
I
yeah.
just don't know." So she's like, "I just feel like Randall needs to be more physical. I just feel like he needs to like give himself to me." Blah blah blah. Meanwhile, she gets mad at Kobe, who I feel so bad for. We feel bad for Kobe, right? We do. We feel bad for Kobe because he's actually a genuinely decent guy. She gets mad at Kobe for texting a girl. Meanwhile, she's been trying to get Randall's dick the entire time. Like the first time she sees Randall, she's like, I'm gonna get some of that. Like, how ridiculous. It's trash, guys. but it's entertaining. So I haven't watched all of it. I watched like 2 episodes, but Jackie was really invested in it. And what was it, Saturday? She watched the entire season Saturday. Like, I left at 12 and I came back at like 7 and she was still on the couch watching it. But like, I get excited because she's excited. Like, she's that invested.
Right.
So when I come home, it's like she's gossiping about people we know. Anyways, if you want to see it, I spoiled a lot. I didn't spoil a lot of stuff because it stopped before. Like, it stopped right at the point where, like, the ultimatum has to be met. Like, are you going to propose or not?
No.
Yeah, so it stopped right there. So we don't know what's going on. But like I said, Madeline is trash. Kobe, run.
Yeah, and fuck Randall. So a couple things. One, my brain is like leaking out of my ears just hearing you talk about it. So like, but I'm glad. And B, I love the Jackie Peanut Gallery. I love that addition to the podcast. It makes me happy. So that's 2 for 2. So I'm glad that we went on that adventure together because A, now I never have to watch it, and B, we got to hear a little bit of Jackie, which is always cool.
That's true. This is like 2 for 2, isn't it?
I'm saying
I should probably like just bring Jackie in all the time to ask a random question. Jackie, would you like to be a part of the podcast where I just ask you a random question? You don't have to be on it, but people just want to hear your voice because you're amazing.
Yeah. Woohoo!
Yay!
Yeah, we got 2 new people today. We have to pick one of those Funko Pops, and you can just like pop it up whenever she talks. You can just like wiggle it around a little bit.
Yeah.
So
she has a lot of Funko Pops. Like all of that stuff is hers.
What is the one on the very besides Sailor Moon on the top row on the very corner? Not the one with the dark hair, the one with the brown hair.
Down here?
Go up a level.
Here?
And beside the book. Is that Sora? It looks like Sora.
Yeah, it's Sora.
Well, that's perfectly look at that. I did that on purpose. I snuck in and left that stuff there yesterday.
Jackie loves Kingdom Hearts. I actually talked to her about when we had to come up with worlds. So maybe I'll drop the gym that she thought would be a good world to add to the.
Yeah, hell yeah, Jackie. Awesome. But that's good.
Enough about me. Let's
very quickly before we go off of you.
Wait.
Hold on. I have to I love your sweater. It looks awesome.
Yo,
I love the dinosaur. Just cool. I just wanted to shout that out before we move on.
That's dope.
It was like $10 on Shein. Tell Senna. He has like some cute stuff.
Senna went off before the wedding from Shein. So like she ordered like 4 boxes from there over the course of like a month. So
it's so cheap. It's so
ridiculous.
cheap.
It's stupid.
Like,
it's stupid. And the quality's decent.
Yeah, the quality's decent. Like, yeah, I love this sweater. It's my dad sweater. Yeah.
Well, there we go. There's our Destiny download. Lou, what about you? What's new? What's been going on, my friend? How's everything going?
I actually had a bit of a momentous week. So I had my birthday. My birthday
was
happy birthday.
Happy belated.
Thank you. Yeah.
That cake looked delicious, bro.
Yeah, you saw the cake. My friend baked that. It was fantastic. I turned 30 on Saturday, so big milestone birthday sort of thing. Yeah. But now I, feeling old is getting more real every day, but still trying to stay in my youth. Yeah. I had a great weekend. Had a great weekend with friends. And this past week, I also bought an honest to goodness, true as the morning sun, full price new game.
No.
What?
I did. Yeah.
What?
What game?
So I bought, it's a bit of a lame one, but bear with me. I bought MLB The Show 22.
Hell no, dude. That's awesome.
It's not lame.
This Sony San Diego is like premier developers. The fact that they pump out that game every year to the quality that it does, no shame, dude. Not at all.
I know some people are like, sports games, it's the same every year kind of thing. But, and the reason why I bought it was because this is the first year that it's on the Switch, which I'm super pumped about because for so long you could only play it on the PlayStation. And I bought a PS4 back in the day just to play MLB The Show. So now I've got it on the Switch. I've got it in my hands in bed when I'm listening to music, when I'm have a spare moment at work, doing a few at-bats. So I bought it. It's good. It runs okay. You could tell it's like the graphics sliders were all just completely turned all the way down so that it can run
this at 180p.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I'm playing it handheld. So, and the handheld version I think is 720p. So
probably,
it's nothing to write home about in terms of the graphics, but it's a fantastic game. I'm really enjoying it. Of course, playing WoW, a new raid came out a few weeks ago.
Nice.
And it's a 10-man raid wherein you go through this sort of jungle and you're fighting trolls. And it's a timed run. So if you make it through the
Oh.
end within a certain time period, you get some extra stuff, including a bear mount, which I did happen to win. So
Bear
Nice.
mount.
bear mount,
That just
yes.
sounds awesome.
That does
Yeah,
sound awesome.
the war bear. Yeah, so I've got that. So still rating. In terms of shows, still on Kitchen Nightmares, which I just can't seem to get off my
Nice.
screen. And Snowpiercer. I'm not sure if you guys watch Snowpiercer. It's on Netflix.
I haven't watched the show.
I
Watched the
haven't watched
movie.
the show. Yeah, I was like, isn't that a movie? Yeah.
Yeah, with
Yeah,
I
Chris
haven't
Evans.
seen it.
that's right. Yeah, back almost 10 years ago now, I think it came out. But the show on Netflix is
Wow, that was a
really
long
good.
time ago.
Is the
Yeah.
show good?
Oh, it's fantastic. Yeah, it's got Sean Bean is in it.
Okay.
And he's great. The guy who played Trevor from GTA 5 is in it.
Oh, no way.
Okay.
Yeah, like the voice actor, and he looks like Trevor. So as soon as I saw him, I was like, that's Trevor.
That's kind of dope.
Yeah. And it's got this other very famous actress whose name I'm forgetting right now. Jennifer Connelly. That's it. It's got Jennifer
Oh,
Connelly.
Jennifer Connelly's in it.
Yeah, she's in it.
Dang,
Which
that's a cast.
she's
Yeah.
great. Yeah, absolutely.
So does it
yeah.
translate well? Because like, is it like a retelling of the movie, or is it just kind of using the same idea? Because like, I always have a hard time with like shows that are based after movies, because like I feel like the pacing can be hit or miss, and even like the visual effects. Is it a retelling, or are they doing their own thing just in that universe?
So it's a great question. I've never seen the movie.
Okay.
But I can tell you in terms of pacing, it's very good.
Okay.
And granted, the limited setting, how everything's in small corridors because they're all on a train.
Mhm.
Even it's very efficient. It's very well paced. It takes its time, but the plot lines interweave, and it's fantastic. Highly recommended. Snowpiercer on Netflix, and they just finished season 3, so there's a decent amount to binge if you're into that.
Nice.
I'm into binging.
Yeah,
I'm
oh, me
way
too.
into
Yeah,
binging.
I die having to wait for episodes
Yeah,
because I just
yeah.
want to get through it, right? So, so that's about it for me.
Nice. That's awesome.
Good. Matt, what have you been up to?
Oh, look at that, so fast. I've been playing more Dying Light 2. I'm getting to the point now where I'm still enjoying the gameplay, but the story and the writing is getting a little like too edgy for me. It's like it was written by like almost like a bunch of 14-year-olds at points, with how like it's just trying to be like cool with like drop like and like swearing all the time, which like anybody that listens to the show knows me. Like I swear like a sailor, but like there's just like a
Just swearing for the sake of swearing kind of
exactly, yeah, and it's like it's starting to like show its hand a little bit. The gameplay itself is still great, but like, and I'm gonna keep going with it because I want to get a review done for it. But yeah, it's starting to kind of wear on me a little bit more the more time that I'm spending with it. I feel like they could have shortened it based off how much time I spent with it so far.
Right.
But like, yeah, and just some of the writing again, and like Rosario Dawson's in it, and like she's super cool, but like there's just again some of the dialogue is kind of like.
So it
just
feels
like
kind of like forced and like a little
yeah,
bit childish at times. Okay.
exactly. Yeah. Like, yeah. But so that's been all right. In terms of stuff I've been watching, I haven't had too much time for gaming over the last week because life's just been super busy. But I have watched a bunch in between, just through work or whatever. We went to see Everything Everywhere All at Once last week.
Is that in theaters?
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was just streaming.
Brilliant. It is legit one of my favorite movies I've ever seen. Like
Wow.
it is,
okay.
it is phenomenal. And I will tell anybody who's remotely interested in it, watch nothing. Don't watch a trailer. Don't read up any reviews because it's reviewing like insanely well online. And like I watched a trailer for it months ago, but I didn't remember much of it. It's basically like a multiverse movie where like there is, of course, there's like this all-encompassing being who's threatening the multiverse, and it's up to this one person to stop it. But it has like kind of like a bit of a cliche sounding story, but everything that movie does is probably something that you've never seen before. It is like ridiculous. We went from like crying from tears, like crying from laughter to legit crying within the span of like a minute. If anybody's watched,
oh my god,
yeah,
this
if
like
anybody's
an emotional
watched,
roller coaster.
it is a 2.5 hour assault on the senses in the best way possible. Like they're like Senna and I were like holding hands for like the first like 20 minutes, and then something happens and she literally let go, and for the next 20 minutes she was watching like this. Like just like
god.
our jaws were on the floor every other minute. Like
I want to see it.
You should. It is phenomenal. Like if it reminds me a lot of like the Gintama or Scrubs thing where it can get very real and very serious, but at the same time, the next beat, it's doing something so ridiculously stupid that like you're just. But the weird thing is that like through all of the surrealism, through all of like the completely outlandish things that that movie does, it's none of it feels like it doesn't belong, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. Like the way that they
Yeah.
tie everything together, the way that like narratively things come back, like there's like a one-off joke that you expect them to like never use again, and they come back and actually build like emotional depth into it. Like it's
Oh,
incredible.
that's nice.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll check it
I
out.
just
I know it's streaming, right? It is streaming.
no, it's only in theaters right now.
Oh, Jackie, is that movie only in theaters? The one I wanted to watch. I thought it was streaming because we were gonna
Every
watch it.
Everything Everywhere All at Once. It was
Oh.
limited. It was a limited run, and literally just a few days ago here in Ontario, at least, it went like full. So like now it's showing everywhere,
Mhm.
but like before, it was only showing in one theater in
I
Toronto.
guess because it's gotten
Wow.
really good reviews.
Yeah, it's like it's starting to blow up, and like my Twitter timeline is just filled with praise for the movie. So like the only I just don't watch a trailer, don't look into it anything more.
Okay.
If you're excited about what I told you, go watch it because it is 100% worth it.
Yeah, I thought I saw it on like one of the streaming services. That's why. Okay, I will
Yeah,
watch it. Maybe we should do a show and talk about it then.
we
If
should
it's like,
do a double whammy of that in Sonic 2 because I really want to watch Sonic 2. I haven't watched it yet.
I'm gonna see it this week.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna see
Lou,
it
are
this
you
week.
interested in
Are
going to
you
see
gonna go
Sonic 2
see
at the theaters?
Sonic? I heard
Yeah,
it's really
absolutely.
good.
It's supposed to be Jim Carrey's last movie, so I would love to go see that.
All
Absolutely.
right. So lock that. We'll have a Sonic 2 review for you guys soon.
I feel like if
Uh,
they do a third one, he'd do it because he said like depending on the project. I think it would be weird if he didn't do it.
especially with
Plus,
Rick
he
Robotnik.
has grandkids, right? So I feel like he would do it. But one of the like really cool things is like I think they said Sonic for a gaming movie has had the biggest second week opening, something like that.
Wow.
It is like smashing records. It's like the number one movie in the world right now. Like it's doing really well.
Yeah,
And
that's
like
what I'm
people are
talking about.
yeah, a lot of people who are like
Sega.
fans of the game said like this is what I want out of a Sonic movie. Like this like a lot of hype for it. So I'm really excited to see it. We watched I binged through the first season of Severance, which is on Apple TV.
Mhm.
Which I don't have, but if you sail the high seas, it's easy to find. One of the weirdest shows that I've ever seen, but I couldn't stop watching it. And like the setup is super interesting because it's one of those things that you can 100% see happening. It's in like the brief like future where there's like a company that's almost like a Google, like a Microsoft, right? Like these like
Mhm.
big tech giants who, because of the nature of their work, their employees get severed. So basically, what that means is that like their work self and their outside self have no like they have no memories. There's no crossover. So like basically like if you're like a normal person, you're walking to work, you walk in at 9 a.m. The next thing you know, you're walking out at 5 p.m. And like the work you is like a
That just
different
sounds like
version of
brain
you.
damage.
Oh, it's again like that's part of like the central concept of the show. It stars like Adam Scott. So for anybody who's watched Parks and Rec, he's Ben in Parks and Rec. Um, it's like a really weird show. It gives me like X-Filesy, but also like
Mm.
control vibes. Like it has this really like surreal thing to it, but like the
Yeah.
mysteries that it kind of builds upon, all the acting is fantastic. It's a really, really weird show. But heavily recommend. And the other thing that Sen and I binged was School of Chocolate. Because we tried to watch Is It Cake? And that was
Yeah.
so bad. We're
Oh,
usually
that guy, that chocolatier guy, he's teaching
yes,
people.
yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's such a nice teacher.
Dude, legit, the thing that I liked about School of Chocolate is that like nobody gets like voted out. Nobody leaves throughout the run of the show. It's
Hmm.
just like literally if you fail a challenge, you spend more time with the chef to get better. Like it literally
Yeah.
does build it like a
It's like a real education. Like he really wants to help people learn, and
yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, and he has like before he's like, instead of saying like this is a challenge, go. He puts them through like a lesson and teaches them how to like apply certain concepts, and then asks them to apply those concepts. It's really well done. Like we flew through it. We watched like 2 episodes back to back, and the next day I think we ran through like the rest of them. Like we just
Yeah.
like similar to Jackie. Like we were just like we got back on Sunday. We are
Yeah.
kind of like we're gonna watch all of this at one go because there's nothing else we're doing right now. We were both tired. But yeah, so I've watched a whole bunch of stuff. The moral of the story is go see Everything Everywhere All at Once because that movie is absolutely fucking wild in the best way possible.
Okay, I will go check it out for
Please
sure.
go watch it. It's so good.
Did
Um,
you ever? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
mm,
off. Did you ever watch Scissor Seven? Like I asked you to watch on Netflix, that anime, just like freaking hilarious.
No, because
No.
I forgot about it. I'm gonna write it down right now, Destiny, and I'll
You
watch it this
I
week.
swear to God, Matt, you'll love it.
Scissor
If you
7.
Lou, you should
Look, I
watch it
wrote it
too.
down.
It's
Look, I wrote it down.
super I see
Scissor 7. Do you see that,
yeah,
Destiny?
man, I
Thank
see
you.
it. You should you should watch it. It's so funny. I really wanna talk about the show at some point. It's hilarious. So,
Okay, we'll check it
Yeah.
out. But
check it out.
Yeah.
without further ado, let's talk about some Kingdom Hearts, everyone. So, in case anybody has not been caught up with all the news, Kingdom Hearts 20th anniversary celebration happened over the weekend. We got a bunch of new trailers for some new Kingdom Hearts mobile games. There was a whole bunch of announcements, but most excitingly, in my opinion, we got the first look at Kingdom Hearts 4. Very different, very like the graphics look incredible. It looks so cool. What we saw from the gameplay was developed in Unreal Engine 4, but they are working on the actual game in Unreal Engine 5, so expect it to look even better.
Even better.
Even
Mhm.
better. Yeah. Sora is finally like looks like a teenager. He looks like he's 18. The clown shoes are gone and he's got some nice kicks
'Cause
on.
he's in the real world. I feel like once he goes back to those crazy worlds, the little cartoon worlds, I liked him in the clown shoes. I
I did
understand why they
too.
did the clown shoes. But everybody kinda hated on the clown shoes. They were like, "When's he gonna wear normal shoes?"
It's
I
so
thought they were
funny because
cute.
everybody was like he's got massive feet, and there's like actual like people are like he doesn't have big feet. There, look, you can see his feet in that one without the shoes. But basically, yeah. So we got Kingdom Hearts 4, a very different art style for the world that we had the world that we
Seen.
saw.
The world that we had seen.
We had seen. That's
Mhm.
grammatically correct. Look at us. But yeah, so basically leaving off of the spoilers for Kingdom Hearts 3, spoilers for Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm once again spoilers for Kingdom Hearts 3, but Sora disappears at the end of that game, seemingly ends up in a world that we had seen in a video game in Kingdom Hearts 3. This is Tetsuya Nomura. This is Kingdom Hearts. The lore, good luck. Just run with it. But we're starting to see more. So obviously we got some people started to get speculation-y. People started to get stoked. People started to get excited. But equally, we saw a lot of people going, why is there more of this series? I don't care. I'm hyped. I love this shit. I don't care if it doesn't make much sense. I went on a 4-hour Kingdom Hearts lore dump one time and learned everything. Can I repeat it to you? Not a chance. But basically, what we're going to be talking about, we're going to be talking about some of the worlds that we want to see in Kingdom Hearts 4. And like, we'll start with like a bit of a tease that we got in the trailer because like the internet sleuths have already found that there's a very in the trailer there's a very forest looking world that people now think is Endor from Star Wars because you actually see the bottom of a foot of an ATST in one of the shots, fueling speculation that we're starting to we might see some of the live action stuff under Disney's umbrella, which could also go along with the different art style, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So before we start talking about our personal picks, Dee, I'm going to ask you first. What do you think about Star Wars in Kingdom Hearts?
I mean, like, Disney owns it. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised if they at some point they throw in some Marvel stuff. Honestly, I'm pretty sure they will. I think like I think it would be really dope if Miles showed up, but of course they have to rent that from Sony.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like the art style that like the game was in and the movie was in would be so like it would be so incredible to see in this kind of new, more realistic Kingdom Hearts that they have going on. I feel like it would fit perfectly. And the idea of them going from world to world, which is kind of like Sora's whole thing, would make
Mm-hmm.
sense with the multiverse, right? That way they
Mm-hmm.
could bring in a lot of different characters. So I think that would be cool to see.
I agree with you. Lou, what do you think? What do you think about Star Wars?
Yeah, fantastic. I was thinking about sort of what I would like to include or what I would love to see in number 4, and Star Wars is at the top of my list. And then, of course, I saw that the sleuthing that was going on, and I thought, okay, of course they couldn't miss out on that opportunity. I had a different sort of location that I thought would be cool because if
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be Endor, like the location is everything. The IP that they're mixing it with, sure, that's an important move too, but where is it going to be in that
True.
universe? Because so we'll talk about that after. But yeah, I think it's fantastic. I'm very excited, and especially excited to see what it looks like, considering it's all in the new engine, and
Mm-hmm.
it looks fantastic. Sort of a new art style. I'm really curious to see how they pull it off.
Yeah, I'm super amped. Like I'm super amped for Star Wars. I've been on like a massive Star Wars kick the last couple months, so for this is just continuing to kind of fuel that. I agree with you, Lou. I am a little disappointed that it is Endor.
Mm,
again,
yeah.
especially if they're going for like the classic time period where the Battle of Endor happens. I kind of want to see them get a little bit weirder with it. If that's just like one of the Star Wars locations, then I think that's fine. But I hope, like, Kingdom Hearts generally likes to kind of do like, here is the zone that you're in, and you can kind of run around and explore in the
Mhm.
larger part of that area. But
Yeah.
like, I just feel like we've seen Endor so many times, like we know what's gonna happen. There's not a lot of like mystery or surprise there, which is why I'm hoping it's not Endor. I'm hoping that it is just another forest planet. Because like you said, location is everything with these games. It's awesome to have the wider universe, but like, where is it going to happen? Like, I would have loved to see some like Clone Wars era stuff, like from more of the animated series, because there's so much there
Yeah.
that's like so good and just entirely left untouched. Like, I want to see, Sora hang out with like Ahsoka more than I want to see him hang out with Luke. Like,
Yeah.
I want to see like the smaller parts of Star Wars kind of included in this, rather than just here's the original trilogy again, which I understand if that's what they're going for, that's what they're going for. But yeah, I don't know. I think you make a really good point there. I want to see a little bit different from Star Wars and Kingdom Hearts. I don't want to just see this is the major beats again.
Yeah.
I feel like they're gonna do it's the major beats again because I feel like a lot of companies are using nostalgia baiting to get
Hmm.
people to buy things. Like you see it everywhere now, like from makeup
Hmm.
to clothes to like movies. They just keep remaking the same shit over and over again. So
Yeah.
that's
Hmm.
possibly, and I mean, like the hardcore Star Wars fans would absolutely love that, and maybe that's who they're trying to pull in because they
Hmm.
already have the Kingdom Hearts fans, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
maybe.
that's true. So where would you want to see them go in Star Wars then, Lou?
Okay, so this is what I had in my note, but reflecting back on it now, I'm thinking maybe it's not the best choice. But okay, hear me out.
Hmm.
I would love to see, I would love to see Tatooine and potentially some sort of Mandalorian situation,
Nice.
tying into the popularity of the show. The next season of the Mandalorian is going to be about the Mandalorian again. It's not no
Hmm.
longer Boba Fett. Um, then on the second, on second thought, like it's a desert planet. There's not even in the show where they have an unlimited budget. It's just a bunch of huts in the desert. So I'm not sure how rich of a setting that would be.
Hmm.
But I think it would be cool. I'm not. Yeah, I think that would be pretty sweet. I would love to see Mandalorians in the game. I think that would be pretty cool. Yeah, so that was my pick there for Star Wars.
I think that's a good pick.
Hmm. Like hanging out with Grogu, that'd be adorable.
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah,
hang out
hell
with
Yeah, I
yeah,
Grogu.
think that's a good pick.
That's
yeah,
what I mean. Like, the Star Wars universe is so rich and vast. Like, there's so much you could do there that, like, I think you're right, D. It probably will just be the Battle of Endor all over again, and we probably might go into space and fly around on the gummy ship and like the Death Star run. Like, that's what I'm expecting out of that. I would love to be wrong. But D, do you think that if it is going to be Star Wars, do you think it will just be here's this one planet, this one location, this one kind of major moment? Or do you think they might do like oh, here's this one part, but now we're jumping over to another planet because the story is taking us there for whatever reason? Do you think we'll see multiple planets within Star Wars, or do you think, like you mentioned, it'll just be the one major moment?
I don't think we'll see multiple planets within Star Wars because they've never done that for any of the other places. That
yeah.
would kind of like, I mean, like they could mix it up, but then no, I don't think so. I think like what kind of makes Kingdom Hearts great is that they do have this recipe of giving you a little bit of everything.
Hmm.
Yep, yep,
So
True.
I
totally.
think like that they're probably going to stick with that because they've done that for every game. I don't see any reason why all of a sudden they would switch that up.
True.
I have to
Well
agree.
said.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and T, you already mentioned Marvel, which is another obviously hot ticket item that a lot of people are asking for. And I think this is where we get into some more interesting territory. Because, like you mentioned, Miles, D, because this is video games, Disney can do whatever they want. They own the video game rights to Miles, so they can do whatever
Mhm.
they want there. But my question then becomes, and I'll ask this to Lou first. Do you think we're gonna get the Avengers? Do you think we're gonna get like the movie Avengers, or like do you think we're gonna stay more in the movie realm, or do you think they're gonna go a little more comic booky with it and kind of disconnect from the MCU as a whole?
I think they're going to go more comic-y with it. I think we're going to see a focus on one group of characters or one sort of I don't want to say tribe, but like one sort of oh geez, yeah, just
Like
one
a
group of
specific
characters.
franchise of
Sure,
the
Yeah.
characters.
exactly, like a specific franchise that had its own movies. Um, I think that I think the right location again, going back to the location, so many great locations in the MCU to choose, and I think that's the way that they're going to go. It keeps it efficient. It keeps it sort of too many. I think the Avengers would be too much.
Okay.
Yeah.
So D, what do you think then?
What?
Do you think do you think they go in towards comics or more towards the movies for the Marvel stuff?
Um, so I feel like they would probably go more towards the movies because that's what Disney's been known for, right? Like Marvel's been doing like the comics, but I think if they wanted to appeal to a wider group of people, they'll probably stick closer to the movies. I don't know if the characters will look like the movie versions of themselves, but I
Hmm.
think like they probably pull from that. So, for example, but then again, they don't have to, right? Because like
Hmm.
when they've been doing the animated versions, they don't necessarily look like the characters in the movie, and they that might cost them too much to take the the rights of
The
the looks of
likeness.
the
Yeah, yeah.
likeness, so
Yeah.
they might not do that, to just save money. But you didn't ask me this, but I think it would be fucking incredible if they put Wakanda as a
Yes.
world in the game, because I just feel like no movie, no game, no series has really explored Wakanda, like the
Hmm.
Totally.
city itself. And I think
Yep.
that would be so cool to be like, I know it can't be super open world, but just to kind of run around and like have that like diverse culture and like see like how vibranium and all of that stuff works, because it's like it's kind of like a futuristic, world, which
Hmm.
would be really cool to see. Um but yeah, no. Maybe they wouldn't take the likeness of the actual actors, but I think the personalities they would try to, cuz that's what I think the masses know.
Hmm.
More of the
Yeah.
masses know the personalities that they've seen on the big screen versus what the comic books are, cuz there's some differences.
Yeah, there are. And like, see, that's what I'm really curious because, like, in my mind, this goes a couple of different ways. Like, one of which they go, like, we're going to get, because I mean, like, we already with the Disney stuff and the Pixar stuff, they kind of play to the movie in the world that they're in, right? When the Frozen world, you're doing all the things that happen in Frozen. So I wouldn't be exactly surprised if we do get like almost like a retelling of like Avengers 1, right? That gives you all those characters. Or even if they go, towards something like Guardians of the Galaxy or Wakanda with Black Panther. I think like those are kind of like the three major points that I think they're going to. I don't think we're going to get all three. It will be one of them. But like I really, really am conflicted about whether we were going to see the game versions of these characters because like we have the Marvel's Avengers game, which like I hope they're not going to touch given everything that happened with that game. The Marvel Spider-Man games would be awesome to have, Peter and Miles together if they're interacting in that capacity. But I think you hit something interesting there, D, because something that I thought about while you were talking is that like the one world that we've seen right now is a city. It's a normal city, right? Doing New York again would just put you again in a normal city. So
Mhm.
maybe you're right.
Yeah.
Maybe we do see Wakanda. Maybe we do see some of this like the spacefaring adventures with the Guardians, right? Like I'm really curious to see if they bring Marvel in, how they're going to do that because I think they're going to have to do it carefully because there's just so much Marvel right now that like navigating
Yeah.
into that space, like they have to making their own renditions of some of these characters is going to be tough. But at the same time, like you mentioned, D, going in the direction of here's Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man is also going to be equally as costly or as difficult.
Yeah, no,
Totally.
I agree. And I think just going back to what you said, like having them placed in another city, I do think because it's kind of starting off with Sora, like it seems like in the real world, they might want to step away from that when it
Mhm.
comes to the other worlds that they're creating. And I could totally see like the gummy ship running into like the guys from Guardians in the Galaxy. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
that would be hilarious. And and like I said, Wakanda is so different. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? It's not just another city. So I hope if they do bring in some Marvel, it's not like you're right. It's not just like your today looking city. Like you see Iron Man fly through the sky. That would be really boring. But yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
My other okay, so here were my other Marvel locations that I thought would be cool. So Wakanda was number one on my list.
Nice.
Number 2 on my list is Asgard. I think that's another
Yes.
sweet
Okay,
That's
location.
yeah.
great
Asgard
idea.
is good.
And you've got a lot. I mean, there's a lot of characters that come from there, right? So, a lot of opportunity for drama.
How would they do that? Because they already have Hercules.
True. Yeah. Um,
So, I mean, yeah,
That
they
would
have to
be
make it different
interesting.
enough because, like, they have Olympus, and like
Yeah, they have
Olympus was in Kingdom
Olympus.
Hearts 3.
Yeah.
But I mean, like Asgard again, like I feel like what could feel different enough depending on how they style it, right? Especially if they're
yeah.
doing their own thing. But yeah,
They could
Luke, go
do like
on.
a joke of it too. Like have those two characters. Like that would
Yeah.
be actually really funny.
Have a statue somewhere in the background.
Yeah.
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 That'd be great. Okay, the other 2 that I had are super long shots, both because it's a pretty minor character, sort of, and also the movies weren't that super popular either. Um, the quantum reality from Ant-Man,
Okay.
as well
Okay.
as, if you recall from the first Ant-Man, the end fight with the Wasp, or the Yellow Jacket, was it? I can't remember the name of. Yeah, it
Yellow
must have been
jacket.
Yellow
Yeah, yeah.
Yellow
Jacket.
You're
Yeah,
right.
jacket.
they're in the kid's bedroom. I think a shrunk down version of a child's bedroom might be a really cool location for a zone in Kingdom Hearts 4.
I love that you said that. Just jumping off of that, sorry. One of the worlds that I thought would be cool because I wanted to do Ghibli was
Mm,
Arrietty's world because they're small and everything is like large. So even if you did
yeah.
like a kid's bedroom, but did they do Toy Story?
They did. That's what I was about to say. They
Yeah,
did
that's
Toy Story
true.
and Kingdom Hearts 3.
That's what
And
I
there's
thought.
they also did Alice in Wonderland in previous entries, which also had you very small in like a kid's room. So like
Right.
but that argument works both for and against the idea because they've already done it multiple times. So doing it again, as long as it's different, wouldn't be a long shot. But I could also understand them staying away from that if they've already done they literally just had Toy Story as a massive thing in Kingdom Hearts 3. But yeah, I think this is really interesting. Okay, let's go around with some of the things that we thought of.
Sure.
D, you just brought up Ghibli, so tell us more about that.
So a lot of the things in Ghibli are like very naturist. So there's not like a lot of like crazy things going on in the world itself because there are a lot of like slice of life. It's the characters who actually bring you into what's going on in that world. And I was trying to think Kingdom Hearts has always got a very vibrant look to it.
Mhm.
So I was like, it would be really cool if they did either Ponyo, which
Mm,
is like underwater, but also you already have the Little Mermaid, and Ponyo is kind of like a retelling of the Little Mermaid. But then I
Okay.
thought, what if we did like Totoro, but like in Totoro's forest, so they could, like,
yeah.
That's
expand on
cool.
that. That would be
That's really
really,
cool.
really cool, and then you would get to see all the other forest spirits and things like that, so I thought that would be a really cool one based off of Ghibli that's still slice of life, but has, like, enough fantasy in it that could, like, still draw in and feel very Disney-esque.
I
Yeah.
haven't seen it, but what about Howl's Moving Castle? Would that work?
So, the only thing that's amazing about not the only thing, it's an amazing movie, but
Yeah.
to
Mhm.
put it into the game, like, the only really, really cool thing is Howl's Castle itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just kind of like a normal city, but
Mhm.
most of their time is spent in the castle. So, if it were to be like not a haunted house, but like the world because his house is always changing because it's magical. If the world itself was was his castle,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that would be really, really cool. Because within the movie, he actually has a door that takes you to other universes. So that could work with
Yeah.
the Keyblade.
Yeah. It could be
Mhm.
the
True.
hub world sort of thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So that would work for that. And those are the only ones that I thought would really, really work. Well, there was there's also Castle in the Sky, which is just beautiful. And then there's Nausicaa. And Nausicaa would be good, but it's also I know, Nausicaa could work because it's the giant bugs in the weird
Yeah.
forest. So
Nausicaa is really unique
it's
with
very
its visual
unique.
themes.
Yes.
I think it'd be pretty sweet. Yeah, that'd be a good one. I had a Ghibli one as well. My and it wasn't mentioned so far. My Ghibli choice would have been Yubaba's bathhouse. I think that would
That's
be
a good
such a
one.
cool
Spirited
location.
Away.
Yeah, from
Spirited
Spirited Away.
Right.
Away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd
That
be
would be
really cool.
cool. Like, even if you switched out Howl's Moving Castle for Yubaba's bathhouse, like, because it's so big, there's so many
Yeah.
different things within it. And I feel like you could do mini games within Yubaba's bathhouse, because I know that there are some awesome mini games. And I think when I was talking to Jackie, she actually mentioned, what world is it? The world from Wreck-It Ralph. What is
The
Penelope's
internet?
world? Candy Kingdom. If
Uh,
there was some sort of like mini racing game,
yeah,
because
Mhm.
her
that'd be
whole
cool.
world is based on that. It's still vibrant, it's still kiddish, and I think it would work really well within the realm of Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
I think those are some really cool ideas, especially like with the bathhouse. If you made that entire like area like the open world, you can start off with like crossing the bridge, and then you have the entire thing, and like the bathhouse would be like the centerpiece of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like some of the areas in Kingdom Hearts 3 were massive, like
Mhm.
huge. Like the Toy Story level specifically is a huge mall with like 4 levels with like a ton of stores and everything. So they've really like kind of blown out a lot of their area. So taking any one of those and kind of like, yeah, make the whole level his entire, floating castle or whatever, right? There's some really cool ideas in there, D. I hope we see some of that because that'd be really awesome.
Yeah.
Lou, what about you? What are some of the ones that you thought of?
Okay. Let's see. I've also got Springfield from The Simpsons.
Okay.
Okay.
That might be interesting.
I
Obviously, Disney.
forgot that Disney owns them
Me
now
too.
because they were Fox.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That might be interesting. That'd be a really interesting crossover for sure. To
Futurama
see
too.
Homer and Bart and with Sora.
Oh.
That would be
It's Sora,
something
Donald,
else.
and Goofy.
Yeah. Then I've got Muppet Theater.
I had
they've got
Muppets
the
too.
Yeah,
You had the
I
Muppets
thought
too.
about
Nice.
I thought about the two grumpy old men.
Yes.
Yeah. Muppet Theater would be great. It's got to be something like, they've got to help them put on the
on a
show. The
show
show
or
must go
something.
on.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. Yeah,
Oh
That's
my
that
such
would
a
be
good
god.
great.
idea.
I've got Final Fantasy 14. Something related to Final Fantasy 14, I think would be sweet because
Darren would
it's
love you for that.
Yeah.
it's so popular and
Yeah.
topical and all that. I also had two that are not Disney, but
Okay.
would be either hilarious or just crazy.
Okay.
And they're both very similar. So either Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones, I think would be wild.
I
Lord of the
could
Rings is
see Lord of the Rings.
yeah,
Yeah.
me too. I was
Game
gonna
of
say
the
that.
Thrones has a lot of stuff in it.
Completely different tone. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Lord of
Make
the
them
Rings would fit
hearts
better.
boobies.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see that.
Lord
Yeah,
of the
Yeah.
Rings would be really cool. Like
Yeah,
again,
it
like they
would
already
be.
have a bit of a precedent with it. With like they did Pirates of the Caribbean and Kingdom Hearts 3, which was like kind of realistic esque.
True.
So like taking that kind of art style and hopping it over. Those are some great ideas, Lou. I think
Yeah.
Yeah,
guys,
those
we
are
should
really
just make the
good.
next Kingdom Hearts. We would make it so successful. I'm just saying.
I just thought of Dr. Seuss and like all of his crazy worlds.
Oh my god, that would be a trip.
That would be such a trip.
I can't. So small tangent here before I talk about mine, but like I can't imagine being Kingdom Hearts developers and having to think about how these worlds actually like geographically make sense, right? Because
Yeah.
it's like if you
Mm.
think about when we watch these movies, it's like we're just getting kind of like location, location, location. But to think about how to piece all of these together and like make them flow is just wild. I can't wrap my brain around it. Like I'd love to have a developer on who's into like level design that way because that's ridiculous. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But some of
But
them aren't some of the worlds just like kind of standalone worlds because you just kind of fly to them.
they're all standalone worlds, but now in Kingdom Hearts, like I mean, like for example, like they had Tangled. Where does that Tangled happen?
Is it Arendelle or is that where the other place is?
That
With the
sounds
Frozen
right, but
girls. The Frozen.
that's Frozen.
Arendelle is Frozen. Jackie,
I think so.
where does Tangled take place? In Corona.
Jackie is just such a wealth of knowledge.
She
Yeah.
she is Disney like queen.
But like yeah, so like to take that for example, right? You have the castle town, and then you see them like in the forest a couple times, but like building that entire environment, but like this is the
Oh,
forest,
you
this is the
mean
path that
building it.
leads.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
like
okay.
actually putting the level together to be like this is the way that it looks, and this is the way that it kind of flows. It's just
Gosh.
wild to me.
We should try to get a 3D level designer on the show one day. That
Yeah,
would be cool. Like, I'm gonna put that on the list of to-dos.
because that's a
I-
trip.
I had one more thought for a hub world, and
Okay.
it was Sanctorum, Doctor Strange.
Nice.
Yeah,
Okay,
because you can
yeah.
go anywhere from there. So anyway,
That's
yeah,
true.
You have the
I'm
portal
loving
set
these
up and
hub
everything,
worlds.
yeah.
right? As for myself, some of the stuff that I thought about, World Ends With You is another one that a lot of people are talking about online because like we've talked a lot about the Disney stuff, but like the Square Enix stuff is where I'm really curious to see how much of that, because it's like it's fallen to the wayside as as the series has gone on.
Yeah.
But like similarly, like I was thinking like Final Fantasy 15 or even Final Fantasy 7 remake, like to have that Cloud and that Tifa be part of the story, because we've already had Cloud and Tifa, but to
Yeah.
have like those versions of them with
Where
how
he
Sora
actually
looks now.
talks a lot more. Yeah.
Exactly, right? And it's not exactly. So like I would love to see some Final Fantasy in there in a more prevalent way. Uh
Was
similarly like
9
from
sorry, was 9 in the game yet? Was
Final
Final
Fantasy
Fantasy 9?
9, I don't know. I've never played 9 and I
Because
can't
Vivi and
remember.
Zidane are super cute characters, and Garnet, I think they would
And you
fit.
know what? There's rumors that they're remaking Final Fantasy 9.
I
So like
heard about
even
that.
thematic, even like asset wise, they'd have a lot of that stuff already.
Yep, I heard about that.
There you go, D. You're the more Final Fantasy expert than I here
I love
in terms
Final
of like the
Fantasy, yeah.
mainline series.
Yep.
Um, the other one that I thought of, like in terms of like also coming from Square Enix side, would be Nier or Tomb Raider. Like I think
Mm,
running around with Laura Croft would be really
Okay,
awesome. Like
yeah.
yeah.
obviously, like they're working on a new game and stuff. Even like the crossover there. Nier I think would be cool, but I also think it might be a little too like risque for the Kingdom Hearts universe,
Mm,
given how
Yeah.
some of the characters are dressed. Um, so like I don't know if they would go that far with it on like a quote unquote family game. And some of the other ones that the other one that I thought of from the Disney side, because like again, similarly to you, D, I was also thinking like mini games or something like a bit of a change up. I think it would be hilarious to have Sora in High School Musical, because like they already
oh
have
my
like
god.
a precedence for like the singing game modes and stuff. Like they have a
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
rhythm game. So like having like putting Sora in and like sending him to high school or like to camp or whatever the hell happens in High School Musical, and like similarly to the Muppet Theater, to like have him do a musical with his friends. I think that'd be hilarious, and I think that would work given the confines of the game.
That'd
I
be
never
awesome.
watched any of those movies. It was beyond me at that time. I was
I
like
didn't
too
watch them
old.
either, but like I just
But
think it would be
I know
cool.
they were very, very popular. I'm trying to
Mhm.
figure out, like, I haven't watched Disney in a while, but like I would like them to bring back like some stuff. So I don't because I didn't play all the Kingdom Hearts games, but like I think all of these characters were already in it. I think they like went through and like cleaned house and put like all the characters from like Tailspin in it with I know Baloo is in it, but was the Baloo from Tailspin in the game?
Tailspin. What's Tailspin?
Oh my god, you guys never watched Tailspin?
I know Tailspin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These characters don't
Darkwing
look
Duck.
familiar. Darkwing Duck would be
Mm,
dope.
that would be
Darkwing
great.
Duck would be
Yeah.
cool. I would like to see like Goofy from a Goof Troop in it with his
Mhm.
son Max. That would be really cool. Like those versions of it. Um Chipping down the Rescue Rangers, like as
Rescue
those
Rangers.
those
Yes.
characters, that would be really cool. Like because like I said, they're pulling on some nostalgia. It would be nice to see them as those characters, right? Not just the
Mhm.
classic Disney characters. And they've like changed Mickey up a bunch of times, so I don't know why they haven't really delved into that, but yeah, I'd be down to do that. They could even put
Especially
Halloween Town in there because I know that was a really big movie when that came
Halloween
out.
Town. Is that
Was it in there?
is
Was
that
Yeah.
Halloween
Nightmare Before
Town in Kingdom
Nightmare
Yeah.
Hearts,
Before Christmas?
Jackie?
Yes, it has. It has
It's
been.
been done.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, she says it's in
multiple times I
everyone.
think. Yeah.
Okay.
The other one that I thought of in terms of just like a super random Disney movie that came to my mind was Flubber.
Yeah.
I don't know why
Flubber's
that one popped
good.
into my mind,
Yeah. His
or even
lab or
like
Was
something.
Doctor Doolittle in it?
that's what I was about to say too. Doctor
Was
Dolittle
the
would be.
world from Mary Poppins in it? You know where they step into the cartoon in Mary Poppins? Jackie, was that in the Kingdom Hearts? No, they haven't added Mary Poppins. They could definitely add Mary
They
Poppins.
could.
Because she's
Okay.
magical.
Here's a question. Here's a question for you guys then, because I know how I feel about this, but I want to ask you, and I'll ask you first.
Okay.
We've seen a lot of the Disney properties in Kingdom Hearts, right? We've had Lion King, we've
Yeah.
had Toy Story. Do you think we'll get reimagined worlds based off of the live action remakes? So do you think we'll get Aladdin again but the live action version of
No,
that world.
because Will Smith did something terrible. They're not going to put him in the game.
Okay, but not necessarily
For that
specifically.
particular movie, absolutely not.
But I mean, as a whole, do you think we'll see those?
No. I think Disney just didn't have anything else to do. So that's why they kept making those movies, because the live action, quote unquote, live action Lion King was horrible.
Was not good.
It was not good. I don't think, like, nobody's really talking about those movies. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, they came out, people went to see them. Nobody's like, man, like Aladdin. They still talk about the animated ones, though. You know what I'm saying? So I think those were kind of like one-hit wonders or whatever. You know, not really worth it.
Lou, what do you think?
I hope not. I really hope not. I'm not a fan of the new live action stuff. It almost reminds me of when I was a kid, or when we were kids, and they were doing like Cinderella 2, The Lion King 2,
right? The direct to VHS ones.
Just let it be what it is. You know what I mean?
Leave it alone.
I'm not into it. I would much rather see the other things that we've talked about, or imagine, what about Dragon Ball Z?
Imagine my God.
That would be outrageous.
Turning Red, which has gotten like Turning Red would be really cool to see in it.
I guess that, we haven't touched on any of the recent Pixar stuff. Like, I think Encanto is probably a sure thing. Given how popular that movie is right now and how big it is. And like, usually they'll let the Square Enix devs know what they have upcoming. That's actually why the Frozen world in Kingdom Hearts 3 sucks, is because they started working on that when Elsa was supposed to be the villain of Frozen, and then had to change and drop a bunch of cutscenes and stuff and like remodel the story, which is why like there's a lack of voice work.
The movie sucks too.
Right.
So I know a lot of people like it, but it's a terrible movie.
Have you watched the second one yet?
No.
Watch the second one. You're gonna like it more than the first one.
I feel like I'm probably because they probably like didn't like chop it up and try to make it make sense, right? So no.
Yeah. So I guess Encanto, Turning Red, I really hope so. Selfishly, I know we just said no more cities, but running around Toronto would be fucking awesome.
That would be cool. As a giant, like, ooh, what if you're riding her, right? Like, as she's the giant panda running through the city, like that would be really cool. That would be cool.
That would be dope. Yeah, like.
And then you run into Spider-Man.
In Toronto, I would tweak.
Imagine a level at the, I can't remember what it's called now, but the Plaza of the Dead from Coco, and it's a musical.
Coco,
world.
Yeah.
Coco is probably a sure thing. That world is beautiful. Like there's so much they can do there.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be a really cool world. Sorry, it's not Disney. It's like super random, but I would love to have like Coraline, and you have to go through the door to the world to the other mother. That was such a good movie.
Never watched the Buttons for Us.
I love Coraline. The music for that was baller. Like the whole soundtrack was dope.
No.
It's a good one.
Ghostbusters.
Wall-E.
Yeah.
Wall-E.
Same with the. Oh my god! I just had one in my mind and it just left me. Zootopia.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, there's a lot that they could do with it.
Wasn't Chicken Little Disney, but it kind of failed?
But Chicken Little was in Kingdom Hearts. At least the character was. I don't know if they've gone to a Chicken Little world, but the character has been in Kingdom Hearts before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. They could do cheaper by the dozen.
Yeah.
But whatever the
find
hell
all the kids,
right?
Yeah, find all the
kids. These irresponsible parents lost all their freaking kids again.
We just played Chicory, where we had to find all this cat mom's babies. So definitely, yeah. So I guess that's a pretty good end piece to the discussion. I think there was something else I wanted to ask you guys, and now I forgot. So we're just gonna roll right past it. But I'm excited for Kingdom Hearts 4. I'm excited to see more from it. I really do wonder, like, this is the start of a new era for Kingdom Hearts. Which are already for us too.
Yeah, I know, right? It's perfect. Look at that timing. It's so wonderful. But that, everyone, let us know in the comments. What worlds do you want to see in Kingdom Hearts 4? What are you hyped out? Where are we right? Are we wrong? Tell us in the comments below what you think, and maybe we'll shout some people out next week or whatever.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Oh my god, I love that, Matt. We'll shout you out, guys.
Yeah.
Right in the comments.
Yeah.
Don't be scared.
Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Anyway, that brings us to the end of the show. But before we go, Destiny, where can people find more of you?
They can find me on Instagram. At Liquor Store Diva. They can find me on Twitter at DMBC32. You guys can find me on my Facebook, even though like my Facebook is just shenanigans. You can also find me on TikTok. My TikTok is just shenanigans as well at Liquor Store Diva. And you can find me over at the Burnout Brighter podcast on Twitter as well as on Facebook. You can find me anywhere on all the social platforms. But if you didn't have time to write all that down because I spoke really fast, we're going to have it down at the bottom. So all you have to do is click.
That we will. Lou, what about you? Where can people find more of you?
Find me on Instagram at Mad Seedling. New videos every Tuesday and Wednesday. Twitter at Mad Seedling. YouTube, Mad Seedling. Check me out. Go give it a listen. Hope you enjoy.
He has good music, guys.
He has fantastic music and a new album coming soon.
Yeah, a new single dropped last Wednesday. Another new single dropping this Friday.
Two for two, man.
Yeah, lots of music coming out.
Hell yeah, dude. So make sure you guys go check that out. As for myself, you can find me over on Twitter at burnout_Matt. You over our YouTube, where we do youtube.com/burnoutbrighter for all of the things. And you can find me over on Humi and Capri, where I co-host the PlayStation Drive each and every week to talk about all things PlayStation. But we will be back next week, everyone. We have some really, really awesome guests coming up in the next couple of weeks to keep up the momentum that we've had going. So make sure you check out the podcast. Let us know what you think in the comments, and we appreciate you all very, very much. We will see you on the next one.
Goodbye.
Peace out.
If you put bread in front of me and tell me that I can eat all the bread that I want, I'm going to eat it.